Hey guys, PsyStarcraft here bringing you another patch update. Blizzard released this morning, I believe, patch number 12, which didn't have too many changes, but the changes they did make were pretty significant, I think. So let's get started here. First off, with the PROTOSS, the only change they made was, well, actually they made two changes. The only significant change was to the Forge. You'll notice it has 400 instead of 550 now, and the build time actually went from 35 to 45, and Blizzard actually released a little report saying why they made these changes. They basically said people were getting cannoned out too much. I have a feeling they cater a lot of these changes to lower players. Not that higher players never get cannoned out, but I did that one game, so I don't know. I didn't know that this change was needed, but it's going to be much more difficult for players to block out Zerg players with the Forge and a pylon, and yeah, there's that change. Next change to the PROTOSS changes the Mothership, which is completely pointless because no one uses it anyway. So good job, Blizzard. Way to listen to feedback from players. Let me get the speed up here real fast. And the change they made is that their Vortex, which again was never used by anyone because no one gets the Mothership, now affects force fields. So let's see it in action here. Yeah, you can see it destroying these force fields even as I try to make them. Wow, cool. Life is fun. And that's the only change to the PROTOSS. Next, they changed TERRAN. They gave Thor a buff. They decreased his size. As you can see here, he is very tiny. They decreased his size from 1.3 something to like 8.75. So a pretty significant change. If they're going to make tweaks like this to units, I don't know why they do it so heavily. Actually, I'm getting a phone call, guys. I will pause for a second here. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Dentist called and they were being nosy and wanted me to do stuff I didn't want to do. Okay, but the Thor is so tiny. Look at how tiny he is compared to a Marauder. It's turning into a Goliath. And people are like, every patch, this Thor is becoming more and more like a Goliath. I mean, it's got the long-range anti-air attack, a lot stronger ground attack, and it's more tanky. But I don't know, Blizzard, what are you doing? What they said about the Thor is that the Thor... they wanted TERRAN players to use it, and so they gave this Thor a minor buff, they said, and then in parentheses they said even though it didn't need it. So I don't know what that means. I like massive units, but this guy isn't as massive as he used to be. I mean, look at this Zergling. This Zergling towers over him. I've made these Zerglings just as kind of an example to see how well you can surround a Thor now. But you can still surround him pretty well with Zerglings. It just looks so weird. Like, all these Zerglings, like, they don't look too much smaller than a Thor anymore, so I don't know. Finally, the last and most significant and talked about change is the Roach. Another nerf to the Roach, Marauder, and Immortal dynamic, but this time it was just to the Roach. Roaches now cost 2 food. There it is, 2 food for a 1.5 tier unit. Isn't unusual. Same price, same attack and stuff. But the problem with this is you're going to have to produce twice as many overlords, and with those overlords you're producing, you're going to have less larvae to make roaches. This is a huge nerf to Zerg players. I may be a bit too extreme in saying this, but I don't think we're going to see roaches in any TVTs or any ZVTs or any ZVPs in an early game at all. Even mid to late game, we're hardly going to see any of them in high level play. And in Zerg on Zerg, I'm not sure, but I think we're going to see a lot more Ling and Baneling play. They're just making the Roach a very bad unit. I mean, I'm a whining Zerg player right now, but they already have so few options. Now they're like even removing the whole massing, the whole idea that Zerg is a massing race, so I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I could be totally wrong, and this change won't make much of a difference, but I know I'm not going to be getting the Roach much. So that's the extent of the changes for this patch. Blizzard said about the Roach, roaches are too good. Let's make them worse by increasing their food, making you produce a whole lot more overlords and having less larvae. So there you go, guys. Forgot about the recap. So quick recap here. I don't like the Forge changes. I think the HP was fine and the build time was fine. If you get blocked out, it's usually your own fault for not scouting. So unneeded PROTOSS nerf. Mothership, fuck you. Thor, I like the size decrease, that's fine, but I think they could have decreased it by a little bit less just for testing purposes, but now it's like so tiny, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot of it, even in masses. You can just like line these suckers up and just own anything. And obviously I don't really like the Roach change. I don't see the Roach being used much anymore in competitive play. So that's it. Thanks for watching.